Shalom to all. We are here continuing our series of People of Har Bracha, and today we are meeting with
Avraham Hermon.
Avraham Hermon. Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Thanks for stopping by.
Let me ask you a few questions if you don't mind. Where are you from originally, Avraham?
So I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania. My family moved around a bit, so growing up we also lived in Los Angeles and then Highland Park, New Jersey.
Okay. And when did you make Aliyah?
1999 with my wife,
With
shortly after getting married.
Oh, you married your wife in Chutz La'aretz and you made Aliyah together.
Yep.
Where's your wife from?
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Teaneck, New Jersey. Okay. And how many children do you have? Bli Ayin Hara?
7 children.
7 children. What are their ages?
We have 2 boys and 5 girls. Our youngest girl is 5. Our oldest boy is 15.
Okay. And when did you come to Har Bracha?
2003.
2003. So you've been here for a while, and
17 years.
17 years. You built your house here?
We built our house here. So when we first came here, we rented right near where Rabbi Eliezer Malamed lives on his road. And then there was a project that started, and we joined in the project and built the house that we're in till today.
Okay. And what do you do for a living, Avraham?
I'm a patent attorney. I specialize in pharmaceuticals and biotech. I'm a U.S. patent agent and Israeli patent attorney, and I work in Jerusalem.
You work
providing services to startup companies, universities, hospitals, mainly having to do with medical inventions.
And you travel from Har Bracha to Jerusalem every day?
I'm in Jerusalem in the office about twice a week. I'm also go to visit clients all over Israel, and I also work from home.
And you also work from home. Uh-huh. And what does your wife do?
She is an English teacher. She gives private English lessons out of the house, and she spends a lot of time taking care of the kids.
Okay. And let me ask you, how would you describe Har Bracha? The community of Har Bracha?
Well, I guess it's a community of ideological people that believe in resettling our homeland, people that believe in living their lives according to the Torah. It's important to them to have a community that is observant, and the fact that there's a yeshiva here also brings a lot of people, and that sort of sets the tone for what the community is like.
And what about the education for your children? Are you pleased with it?
I think that there are pluses and minuses. I think there's an advantage of bringing your kids up in this sort of community. But I think that there is definitely room for improvement.
Are all your children in school here in Har Bracha?
All of my children, except for the oldest, who is in high school in Petah Tikva.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what would you say to Jews in Chutz La'aretz about moving to Israel?
I think it's a great idea. I think that probably one of the best decisions that I made was, in my life, was deciding that Israel is the place for me. I had the privilege of studying in Israel for a year after high school. That year turned into 2 years. I didn't want those 2 years to end. I wanted to continue this process of growing and learning in the land and about the land. And what ended up happening after 2 years of learning here, I went back to the U.S. and I got my degree and came back to Israel right afterwards, as soon as I could. I realized after being here, I fell in love with the place, and I couldn't see myself living for a long time or starting a family anywhere else. And we essentially made a decision to move away from our families, which is difficult, but now our children don't have to make that decision. A lot of our family members came also after us and joined us in this process.
Uh-huh. Okay. And let me ask you another question about Jews who are thinking about making Aliyah. Would you suggest they move to Har Bracha?
I think that there may be some challenges if they move to Har Bracha. I think that the best way to make Aliyah is to make a smooth transition. So for us, it was a smooth transition. It was a welcome community. We already knew Hebrew. I don't know if families that have English-speaking children would necessarily find it easy to adapt here. It might be difficult. Right now, the school systems have no programming for English-speaking children. All that is done by my wife. She teaches English to my children within the framework of their school. So if someone's coming from America, I think that they have to make sure, A, that they feel comfortable with the culture and with the language, and decide on a community that works best for them based on that.
And what about like recreational type of stuff here in Har Bracha? Do you find
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a great. I think, you look around, you just see it's a beautiful place. Jonathan, you see me outside running all the time. There's a lot of opportunity to run. We have also clubs for fitness. We have a CrossFit club that we started 3 years ago. Great for keeping in shape. It's there's a lot of community type activities for people that are interested in that.
okay? And Rabbi Melamed is the Rav of the Yeshuv. What would you say about Rabbi Melamed?
Ever since we came here, we were impressed with him, and I think part of the reason we heard about Har Bracha was because we had heard about Rabbi Melamed. I think that what makes him stand out is that he's very practical. He understands how the Torah is something that we have to bring into our lives, and it's not something that's just in books. And his philosophy is really bringing that ideal into action.
And okay, and all in all, summing up our little visit here with you, Avraham, how are you happy here in Har Bracha?
Yeah, I'm happy here. We have friends, we have community. It's a beautiful place. My kids are happy. I think especially during this time that a lot of people were cooped up in their houses for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Kids were not in school. We feel privileged that we have a yard. Not everyone in Har Bracha does, but we, I guess, came here in time to build a house that has a private yard, and we have an ability that the kids were able to be outside, and that's a big plus. I'm happy with the community, and I like it here.
And you like it. And the area here in Gavahar, in general?
Yeah, I think that one thing that's challenging about it is that we're pretty far out. Nearest city for a lot of services is Ariel, and that will take about 20-25 minutes to get to if there's no traffic, and more if there is traffic. So we have to plan that accordingly, plan our supermarket shopping and clothing shopping and the like. So for people that are accustomed to having a supermarket next door, it's not necessarily easy, but you get the hang of it. You plan about when you're gonna do shopping, when you're gonna be out in the city. But there are plenty of services here, doctors, small store, clothing store. I was just at the hardware store this morning and picked up some stuff for home improvement and the like. So all in all, the community's growing. People are enjoying it here. And I hope to stay here for a long time. And
Har Bracha is surrounded by a number of Arab villages and very close to the city of Shem. Do you feel any? How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel very safe here. The kids feel very safe in the community. I don't visit the communities around the Arab towns around. I haven't visited Shechem, but at the same time, I feel like there's plenty of room for me if I want to go running on the hilltops near the community. We feel safe. We feel that there's an IDF presence, and we feel fortunate to be here in this special place of the Shomron.
Okay, Avraham, thank you so much for being with us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.